What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was gonna take today off, right? And I saw a post by Lucky from Hoodstocks on his Instagram, right? And I knew I had to make a video. So apparently, on July 9th, the CDC. I always say the CDC because that's what I entered. Now it's the CDCR, right? The CDC is about to implement, or they're going to decide whether or not they're going to implement a new policy where anybody housed in solitary confinement will be denied access to canteen privileges. I know that there's going to be people out there that'll be like, man, fuck them. That's what they get, this and that. And to those people, let me say this. There's an old saying, I'm not going to get it exactly correct word for word, but it's basically this: judge a society by the way they treat their inmates. If we live in a society where when people break the law, your mentality is lock them up and throw away the key, that's a very cold-hearted society. And the harshness that we judge is how harsh we will be judged. Remember that. There are guys that are in prison for crimes they didn't commit. I met several while I was incarcerated. There are guys, the vast majority of guys in prison are in prison because of a decision that they made as a teenager, 18, 19 years old, maybe 20, 21. They're 50 or 60 years old now. They are not the same person that they were when they entered the CDC. Now, people are also going to say, yeah, that's all good, but they're in solitary, so obviously they did something. Yeah, they're in prison. Regardless if you're innocent or not, nobody doing time with you gives a damn. Period. I always say, if you're looking for compassion in prison, you're going to find it in the dictionary. You're just going to find the definition, right? Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. You're doing time just like them. You're not going to put up with disrespect just like they aren't. You will be held to the same standard as everyone else, or at least hopefully you would hold yourself to the same standard. The fact that you're innocent, the fact that you did something 30 years ago, then you're no longer that person, you still have to defend yourself. And there's going to be incidents where you're going to wind up in solitary confinement. It's very, 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 very rare for anyone who does even a few years to not at one point or another wind up in solitary confinement. So in Lucky's post, he said he asked that people reach out to their local ombudsman, right? Now you can get at the ombudsman, but I would also say hit up your state representative for your district. Everyone has a different, not everyone has a different, but people have different state representatives. You need to email that person and tell them this isn't right. This is punishment. Now, I know what the CDC is trying to do, and I don't think it's going to work at all. The CDC is trying to get the convicts to go back to the old way, right? The politicians in Sacramento within the CDC are hoping that the convicts are going to turn around and start whacking cops. Because as soon as that happens, then they're going to start implementing even more harsh policies and rules, and it's going to be bad, right? However, I know that the convicts are way more sophisticated. They know to use the court system, the legal system, the inmate appeal process. The only problem with this is that I don't think the courts would side with the convicts on this, because the CDC does provide 3 meals per day. They're 3 skimpy meals. You're going to have a whole lot of hangry convicts. And that's what the politicians within the CDCR in Sacramento are hoping for. have a bunch of hangry convicts that can make people move when they want to. And so that's why I say get at your state assembly person, your city council, whoever, and make noise with them and tell them straight out, if you want my vote next time, you're going to do whatever you can do to get in the CDC's ears that this is not acceptable. Every one of us pretty much, unfortunately, maybe not all, but a vast majority of us in California have a family member or a friend doing time. Doing time is hard enough. Once you start starving people, that's when things get ugly. You're not gonna look. The 3 meals that are provided by the CDC are not going to be enough. You have people who they have to exercise. Exercise alleviates stress, and puts you in a better state of mind. If you're working out but you have nothing but state food to rely on, if the decision is to stop working out, then that makes your health condition go down. The CDC is treacherous. It's very scandalous. And the things they're willing to do. And another thing, correctional officers. If your wife or husband is a correctional officer, I think you also would want to contact the ombudsman as well as your state representative, because the politicians in the CDCR in Sacramento are putting the COs in jeopardy, and they know this. They constantly try to figure out ways to get their COs hit in order to get what they want done. They don't care about blue or green. They care about their money. I'm telling you, it eats away at those guys in Sacramento to see people in Pelican Bay that are smiling. They have a TV in the pod. They have tables in the pod. No. They want to go back to the days where that was a place of misery. The place that they used to brag about, that's the worst of the worst, the end of the road. They want that back. I remember COs even used to brag about and be proud about the shoe and the fact that there was no SMY in Pelican Bay. These were cops, and they were bragging about it, like if they're convicts. Anyhow, I just wanted to make sure I put out a video, and I brought to light this subject because I think, look, I did decades in the CDC. I know how it is. I know what the CDC is doing. Everybody behind those walls knows exactly what the CDC wants to happen. And while I know that these convicts, they're utilizing, like nobody got at me. They got at Lucky. Somebody that's in solitary confinement reached out to Lucky, and he put it out there. And I think that other content creators, hearing him and hearing me, I think you guys should do a video as well, especially if you're an ex-convict. That would be horrible if they take canteen from solitary confinement. Look, they only let you spend $55, but at least you can buy some soups. You can buy some candy bars. You can buy stuff that will sustain you, right? So I guess we're going to stay tuned, see what happens. But hopefully you guys do get at the ombudsman. You get at your local representative and put it in their ear. This can't happen. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.